Okay, so I'm going into the general plot summary. This is page 9 on the Grapes of Wrath, Cliff Notes. Cliff Notes of the Grapes of Wrath. General plot summary, page 9. Tom Joad is hitchhiking home after being released from the state prison on parole. He has served 4 years of a 7-year sentence. He catches a ride with a truck driver who takes him to the road which leads to his family's farm. As he is walking the rest of the way, he meets Jim Casey, an itinerant preacher. Casey explains that he has been away for some time, trying to figure out some things, and has decided that since all things are holy, he need not be a preacher anymore, but just live with the people because the people are holy. They go together to Tom's place. When they arrive, they find that the place is deserted. They can't understand it. It looks as though all the neighboring farms are deserted. Soon they see someone coming. It is Muley Graves, who tells them that Tom's folks are at his Uncle John's. Jim and Tom sleep in the fields that night and walk to Uncle John's on the next day. When they arrive, they find the Joads making preparations for a trip. It is explained to Tom that the banks and large companies closed out all the small farmers, and now most of them are heading to California, where there is supposed to be work. They sell all of their belongings but get only $18 for them. Casey joins them because he has to be where the people are. When they are about ready to leave, Grandpa Joe doesn't want to leave. They have to dope him in order to get him away. When they stop on the first night of the journey west, Grandpa has a stroke and dies immediately. The Joads, who have stopped next to some of more migrants, the Wilsons, borrow a quilt from the Wilsons and bury Grandpa. They then fix the Wilsons' broken down car, and the two families begin the trip together. Just as they reach California, Miss Wilson becomes so sick that she can't go any further, and the Joads give them money and food and leave them. During the entire trip, Grandma Joad has been getting sicker and sicker. As they begin the trip across the great desert at night, Ma Joad realizes that Grandma is dying. She explains to the old woman that the family must get across the desert because they are about out of money. Grandma dies early in the night. When a guard stops them, Ma Joad tells the guard that they must get to a doctor because Grandma is sick. The guard looks and lets them pass. Ma tells the family to drive on, and in the morning, when they are safely across, she tells the family that Grandma is dead. They have to leave her to be buried a pauper because they don't have enough money for a funeral. They arrive in a place where many other migrants are camping. Even though it is filthy and disorderly, they stop, but the men are unable to find work. A contractor comes through looking for workers, and when a friend of Tom's asks what they are paying, the friend is accused of being a Red and is arrested. A fight ensues, and the sheriff tells the people in the whole camp that the whole camp will be burned. The Joads pack up and leave. They find a vacancy in a government camp, which is protected from the sheriff. Here there is law and order, but the Joads are still unable to find work. Soon they are out of money and food and must move on in search of work. They hear of work in a peach orchard. When they arrive, they are escorted into the camp by policemen. There are many men standing outside the camp, some yelling and waving. The Joads begin picking peaches immediately so they can have something to eat that night. Later, Tom slips outside to investigate the situation involving the yelling men. He finds his friend Jim Casey, who has been in prison, and Casey tells Tom they are striking against the owners of the orchard who cut the wages in half. While they are talking, some men come looking for Casey, who is apparently the leader of the strike. The men advance on Casey and immediately kill him. Tom becomes infuriated and kills one of the men. He flees and gets back to the camp, but he has to hide because his nose is broken. The Joads' wages are cut in half the next day because the strike is broken. They leave and find a place where they can pick cotton and where Tom can hide in a nearby thicket. One of the Joad children gets into a fight and threatens to call her brother Tom, bragging that he has killed a man. Ma hears about the child's threat and goes to Tom and tells him that he must leave. Tom is going to carry on with work that Casey was doing, and he takes a little money from Ma Jode and leaves. As soon as the cotton picking is over, the rain sets in. Just as the Jodes are thinking about leaving, Rose of Sharon, the daughter, goes into labor pains. Pa and some other men try to build an embankment to keep out the rising water, but the embankment collapses. The baby is born, but it is dead. The water continues to rise and comes into the boxcar where they are living. Pa Jode builds a platform inside the boxcar where they stay for 2 more days. As soon as the rain slackens a little, Ma Jode says the family must find some drier place. Carrying the children on their backs, they wade through the water until they come to the highway. Down the road, they find a barn with some dry hay. They also discover a man dying from starvation. The man's son tells him that his father hasn't eaten for 6 days. The Jodes have no money and no food. Ma suggests to Rose of Sharon that she feed the dying man from her breast, which Rose of Sharon gladly does. Cast of characters. Note, for a fuller discussion of the main characters, see the section at the end on character analysis. Pa Jode. Pa Jode is a tenant farmer who just lost his farm as a result of the Oklahoma dust destroying the crops. He is taking his family to California where he hopes to get work. Ma Jode is the strong, determined wife and mother who is the guiding or controlling member of the family. She holds the family together. Grandma and Grandpa. The grandparents originally settled the 40 acres which Pa Jode has just lost. Noah Jode, the oldest son, who was somewhat injured at birth when Pa Jode had to perform the delivery. He moves rather slowly and quietly. Tom Jode is the second son who killed a man 4 years ago in a fight and has been paroled after 4 years in the state prison. Rose of Sharon, that's the daughter who is married to Connie. She is expecting a baby and dreams of a nice place to live in California. Al Jode is a 16-year-old son who is only interested in cars and girls. Rose of Sharon's husband, Connie, is Rose of Sharon's husband who deserts her after they reach California. Ruthie and Winfield Jode. Ruthie and Winfield are the 2 youngest. Ruthie is 12 and Winfield is 10. Jim Casey. Casey was once a preacher, but has decided to give it up because he has found that everything is holy, and man needs no preacher to say this. He goes along with the Jodes to California. Ivy and Sari Wilson. It says Sarah, but Sari. That's a couple that the Jodes meet when they first began their journey west. The Jodes fix the Wilsons' car and help them across the country. Mr. and Mrs. Wainwright, the family who live in the opposite end of the boxcar during the last part of the novel. Agnes Wainwright, their younger daughter who becomes engaged to Al Jode. Mooley Graves, a neighbor to the Jodes who refuses to leave his land after he lost it and who is living wild and sneaky like some animal. Ezra Houston, the chairman of the Central Committee and the government camp in California. Willie Eaton, the man in charge of the entertainment committee and who directs the actions against the rioters. Julie Vitella is a half-breed Indian whom Tom meets at the government camp. So then it goes into the chapters.